Have you ever felt lonely, even in a room full of people? Does your mind keep replaying old mistakes you can't let go of? Do you keep thinking about the past while quietly worrying about a future you can't control? Maybe you've been waiting for peace to arrive after your next success. Yet some people who have everything still feel empty. This is the story of a young man who carried that same weight until 3 simple lessons and 1 iron ring changed everything. Long ago, in a distant kingdom, by the edge of a river, lived a quiet old man named Walter. He lived in a small house nearby. His clothes were simple and patched. He always carried a small bag hanging at his side. He spent most of his time sitting beneath an old oak tree, watching the water. Most villagers greeted him with respect, though none could say exactly why. But a few, the ones always chasing more, only saw an old fool wasting his days. One man scoffed, dragging a cart full of grain.
Look at him, sitting there doing nothing while the rest of us work.
If you worked half as hard as you sit, you might actually have something to show for your life.
A third spat on the ground as he passed.
Look at you, just sitting there while the rest of us work. You disgust me. Get up and do something useful for once.
Walter said nothing. He only smiled, calm as the river beside him, and let their words drift away in the current. Not far from that same river stood a small forge town, and in that town lived a young man named Jack. He worked as a blacksmith's apprentice. He was honest, he was hardworking. His hands could shape anything, shovels, sickles, axes, knives. But his heart wanted one thing above all, to become the finest swordsmith the kingdom had ever known. Every night the fires died down. Jack's body rested, but his mind didn't. He thought about the smiths in the capital, already famous. He thought about blades he hadn't made yet. He thought about how far behind he still was. Even his happiest moments passed him by unnoticed, because his mind was already chasing the next one. One evening, his old master called him aside. "You keep asking me how to become great," the master said. "I can't teach you that anymore. But there's a man who can. His name is Walter. He lives by the river, beneath the old oak tree." Jack didn't wait for morning. He found Walter that same evening, sitting quietly beneath the tree, watching the water move past. Jack, catching his breath, said,
"Sir, my master sent me. I want to become the finest swordsmith in the kingdom. Will you teach me?"
Walter didn't look up right away. When he finally did, his eyes were calm, almost sad.
"I don't forge swords anymore, and I won't teach what I gave up."
"Then what do you do?"
Walter said simply.
"I sit. I watch the river."
Jack frowned. He'd walked all this way for nothing. And yet, something about the old man held him there. He had never seen a face so still.
"Then teach me that."
Jack said quietly.
"How are you this calm?"
Walter studied him for a long moment. Then he reached into his bag, pulled out an iron ring, and slipped it around Jack's neck.
"Wear this and don't take it off. I've already given you my first lesson."
Jack touched the cold metal, confused. Walter only rose and walked toward his workshop. Jack followed. Walter pulled a glowing sword from the forge fire and dropped it straight into the water bucket. A sharp crack echoed through the workshop. When he lifted it out, the blade had split clean in half.
"Why did it break?"
Walter asked.
"The water was too cold."
Walter shook his head.
"No, it broke because I didn't wait. Fire needs time before it meets water, or the shock tears it apart."
He held up the 2 broken pieces.
"Pain works the same way, Jack. Rush to cool it before it's ready, and it doesn't heal. It breaks."
Days later, they stood where the river met a big stone. The water didn't stop,
"Watch closely,"
Walter said.
"The river never wastes its strength fighting what won't move. It bends around and keeps going. That's not defeat, Jack. That's how it reaches the sea at all."
On the walk back, they passed a hillside near the forge town. An old shepherd sat there playing a soft tune on his flute. His small flock grazed beside him. His coat was patched many times over, but he played on, eyes half closed, lost in the music. He looked like a man with nowhere else in the world to be.
He owns almost nothing,
Jack said.
yet he looks like the wealthiest man in the kingdom.
Walter nodded slowly.
That's because he stopped counting what's missing and started noticing what's still here.
That evening, Walter handed him a small clay pot holding a single, burning ember.
Walk the full circle of the village. Keep it alive.
Jack cupped both hands around the coal. He held it close to his chest. Whenever it dimmed, he leaned down and blew a soft breath onto it. He walked the whole village guarding that flame. When he returned, the ember still glowed. Walter asked,
Did you hear the birds?
No,
Did you see the flowers by the well?
no,
Did you hear the river?
no.
Walter nodded slowly.
You protected the flame, but you lost the walk. Presence isn't about doing less. It's about actually being there while you do it.
Walter took the pot from Jack's hands.
Now take another round.
This time Jack heard birds. He saw flowers by the well. He heard the river humming behind the houses. When he returned, Walter smiled.
Tell me, which walk do you remember?
The second one.
The second walk became a memory. The first became only a task.
Weeks passed. Something in Jack was shifting. Neighbors began to notice. Your knives feel different now, the baker said one morning, turning one over in his hands. Sharper, steadier, like they were made with a calm hand. The washerwoman by the river smiled as he passed. You even walk slower these days, she said, like you're not rushing toward anything anymore. Jack just smiled, unsure how to explain it himself. Then one afternoon, the village landlord stormed into the forge, his boots echoing against the stone. Your rent is due. Pay double by week's end, or I'll take your tools. When he was gone, Jack's hands trembled. The old fear came rushing back, the fear of losing everything he'd worked for. For a moment, the old Jack almost returned. He nearly ran after the landlord, ready to beg. Then he stopped. He remembered the river. It never fought the rock. It simply bent and kept moving. Jack took a slow breath. The next morning, he calmly asked the landlord for more time. The landlord sneered but walked away. That night, Jack touched the iron ring, still resting against his neck. He'd nearly forgotten it was there. His skin beneath it was raw. He returned to Walter. It never felt heavy, but it left a mark. A ring left on too long still leaves a mark, even if you forget it's there, Walter said. Most people carry their worry the same way, from sunrise to sunset, never taking it off. Then they wonder why they feel so heavy. Now you can take off the ring. One moonlit night, they sat near the river's edge. Walter was quiet for a long time before he finally spoke. I've never told this to anybody, he said, not in 30 years. I once forged the finest blade this kingdom had ever seen, Walter said, a gift for the king. He gave me a palace, servants, more gold than I could spend. His voice grew quiet. Then a general took that same sword and betrayed his own men. He burned my village. My wife and son were gone before I even heard the news. I walked away from all of it after that, Walter said. None of it meant anything anymore. He looked toward the water. The landlord you answer to, he's that general's son. His wealth was built on my blade and on my worst mistake. Jack sat in stunned silence. Not long after, Walter grew ill. Jack sat beside him at the river, beneath the old oak tree. Tell me, Walter whispered, what is peace of mind? Jack thought for a long moment. Peace isn't having everything you want, he said quietly. It's knowing you don't need everything to be at peace. Walter's eyes shone. You have the lesson. Beneath the old oak tree, beside the river that had taught him everything, Walter closed his eyes for the final time. Jack's eyes filled with tears, but he made no sound. He simply sat with him, present and unhurried. The villagers gathered, and together they buried Walter beneath that same tree, facing the water. Years later, Jack became the village's blacksmith, not the finest swordsmith in the kingdom, but something better, a peaceful one. One evening, a young apprentice came to him, restless, asking how to become the greatest smith the land had ever seen. Jack said nothing at first. He took an iron ring from the wall and placed it over the boy's head. "Wear this," he said. "I've already given you my first lesson." Most of us spend our lives waiting for peace. We tell ourselves we'll finally feel calm after we earn more money, reach our goals, fix our problems, or become someone better. But that day never seems to come. There is always one more mountain to climb. The truth is, peace doesn't begin when life becomes perfect. It begins when you stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. You can't change yesterday, and you can't control tomorrow. The only place life is happening is right now. Like Jack, we often wear invisible rings around our necks, old regrets, constant worries, and endless comparisons. We carry them for so long that we forget they're there until they leave their mark. You don't need to have everything to be at peace. You only need to notice what you already have. Peace isn't something you discover once and keep forever. It's something you choose again every single day. If this story gave you a new perspective, share your biggest takeaway in the comments. Like this video and subscribe for more life-changing stories. Thanks for watching.